Hey, it's been a minute. It's been a long time, hasn't it? It's been a little too long. And the problem is that as more time goes by, it got harder and harder to actually make a video and to kind of explain what was going on and where I'd been. Received a couple emails, a couple DMs, a couple messages. I appreciate that. Everything's good. I just want to give you a little update on what's happening with this channel. In fact, I finally decided something just poked me and I was like, you got to record this video. You got to post it as soon as possible. And I looked down at the calendar and it's May 21st at the time of recording this. And I'll post this tomorrow. When you're watching this, it's today, which is May 22nd. What's special about that day? Well, it is the third birthday of when I started this channel. I started it on May 22nd, 2022. You can even see the first video if you want. And since then, over the 3 years, I've done over 230 videos. That's insane. There's our Patreon, which are still incredible supporters. There are all the people I've got to meet, all the people I've got to interview, the podcast episodes, the merch. It's been incredible. I think just around just about a month ago, I just started to feel kind of like I'd run out of ideas. I'd run out of what to post, what to film. I just feel like I was always like having to chase the next idea. And when you do a weekly show, and sometimes it was song reviews, which would help us a little bit coast, but when you do a weekly channel and you never stop, it's like there's always something. You always have to do something, and it just got a little bit exhausting. And here's where the problem came in. What happens when the thing you love the most in the world, which is that dude over there or down there, the thing you love the most in the world, the music you love the most in the world, what happens when that becomes your job or when it becomes a chore? And that was something I was worried about day one. When I first thought about doing this channel, I actually thought about doing a podcast, and I was thinking about interviewing just people in the Phil Collins Genesis orbit just for a podcast. And I reached out to a couple people, and I got a couple people ignored me. One person said yes. And then a couple people like kind of called into question, if I had permission to talk about certain things. And all of a sudden I just felt a bit of pushback. And I was like, whoa. What happens if this like pursuit ends up like negatively affecting the thing I love the most, the thing that was mine, the thing that like I really didn't share with anyone else. It was my own obsession. And when you start to open yourself up, all of a sudden, like what happens if like a negative interaction with somebody over an interview or something could actually affect this perfect thing that you love? Anyway, that was like kind of a realization. I was like, whoa, I hope I don't like start this thing and then end up like, what if I meet Phil Collins and he disappoints me? That kind of thing. Well, 3 years later, that never happened. However, I just felt recently like I was running out of things to talk about. I didn't want to be scraping the barrel. I found it hard to film every single week. And so I just took a week off. And then I took a second week off, and then a third, and then a fourth. Then I started getting worried. I was like kind of enjoying this little break. I kind of prided myself on the fact that I had an episode every single week and barely ever missed an episode over 3 years. That's why I have 230 videos on my channel, and it's only 3 years old. And so many people following along and supporting the channel and commenting on every single video. But that created a bit of pressure to do a weekly episode. Should I pull back and just do sporadic episodes? I don't think so, because I really like consistency. I like the fact that people have told me Sunday mornings or Sunday afternoons, they would sit down and they would watch my Phil Collins or Genesis topic video. I love that. I love that I kind of became like a television show that people got used to expecting once a week, like the old TV programs that we grew up watching. Anyway, I'm not going anywhere. I have not really gone anywhere. I've been working on some other projects. I'm a musician. I run a record label. I have another business where I teach people about the recording industry. I have another podcast about vinyl. I have some cool projects I've been working on in the Phil Collins space with some other people, things I need to get working on. So that's where I am. I'm just busy and also tired. And it's not a great episode to make on the 3-year anniversary of this channel. So I apologize for that. But here's what I want to do in the future. This is where something that's kind of reinvigorating me a little bit. First of all, if anything big comes out, if there's some big news, you'll see me. But here's what I want to work on for when I get back into regular scheduled program. That is interviews. As I said when I started this, I really, really wanted to do interviews with the band members and the producers and the journalists. And that's something I think I'm going to get back into. It's really, really hard work because you have to research people, you have to find them, you have to pitch to them, you have to pester them, you have to get in touch with them over and over and over. Then if they say yes, which is very, very rare, you have to schedule it. Then you have to research, plan for the interview, shoot it. As you know, I've done a few interviews over the years. I've got to interview Harry Kim and Chester Thompson, so many people in the Phil Collins space, but I want to do more of it. And there's some people I have my eyes on, some people that I'd like to touch base with, even if they're not like super, super connected to Phil. There's some really cool stories to be had out there. So that's what I'm working on right now, is pursuing more of those people, finding more of those people, pitching to them, asking them to be on the program, and then researching and recording it. And so I hope to come back with more interviews. I personally really like interviews, and it's something I haven't done enough of. And I think I should do more. You don't want me just to sit here and talk about Phil Collins all day. Let me sit here with somebody else and talk about Phil Collins all day. So that's what I've been up to. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for supporting the channel for 3 whole friggin' years. That's amazing. It's just been a little bit of a pullback. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of pullback. And usually what ends up happening in my life is when I pull back on something, it ends up becoming like a slingshot. You pull back, and then all of a sudden it comes bursting out with so much more energy. So thank you. I'll see you soon.